on this Monday, July 28th, 2025. This is the Wilmette Park District Committee of the Whole of the Park Board of Commissioners. It's a fun day. And Chris, can you please give us a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Kozlowskis.
Here.
Commissioner Duck. Present. Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Gold.
She's absent. Yeah.
Commissioner Murdoch.
Also
Commissioner Layton.
here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Also absent. We have a quorum, just barely. Communications and correspondence, there's some items in the packet. But before we get started, this is Al. And I would like, yeah, okay. If you plan to address the board tonight, we ask that you please come up to the front of the room. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes and we'll notify you when you have 1 minute remaining, 30 seconds remaining, and when we are out of time by holding up a sign and giving a verbal cue. Everything said during this meeting is recorded. Please note that the full policy for public comment is printed on page 3 of the meeting packet and explains the procedures the board adheres to in order to maintain a respectful and efficient meeting. The purpose of public comment is for the public to share their comments and or concerns with the board. Due to time constraints of our business meeting, there's not time for dialogue. When possible, the board will address the questions at the end of the meeting. If you have a specific question that's not addressed, please email the executive director, Mr. Chris Lindgren, his first meeting.
Welcome.
Welcome. I'd like to remind everyone that we are a community of neighbors, and as such, we want our meetings to be civil and as courteous as possible. So for our frequent attendees, we removed the test language because I believe this is the first. We're going to go live with Mr. Al. All right, so this is the first videotaped and recorded cow meeting in history of the Wilmette Park District thing. People are saying.
We'll say it is.
People are saying it is. So public comment correspondence. Would anyone like to address the board?
You got this, public comment recognition of visitors.
Yes. Communication correspondence, public comment recognition of the visitors 3.0. Seeing none, we'll move on to 4.0 old business. Seeing none, moving on to 5.0 new business. 5.1 June 25 financial update.
Hi, so we are year to date through June at $4.7 million. Our budget is at $1.7 million. We're running a $2.9 million surplus versus budget. I have taken a look at the detailed budget variance reporting. We're requesting that management, the managers have those available at 8/1 so we can distribute that as soon as we'll have the detailed variance explanations by then. And we'll share that with you when we collect all that information. At a real high level, though, I can talk about miscellaneous revenue. Okay. We're ahead by $522,000. Part of that is the OSLAG grant at $283,000. I know it was $300,000. It's an accounting thing, so $283,000 of it is in this year. Interest income is over budget year to date by $147,000. Through June, we are at $275,000 in interest income. The budget for this year is $320,000. So we will definitely be having a permanent difference. I just don't know what that's going to be. Depends on how stuff is getting spent down. Our donations are up $10,000 over 2025 budget. So any more donations that we collect, we'll just continue to add to that. We had a $17,000 unbudgeted electricity rebate from all the work we've been doing with the light bulbs everywhere. And just a couple of other things. The big thing on expenses has been the electric bills. I pulled the electric bills going back to January of 2024 so that I can compare what's going on for the first 6 months of 24 versus the first 6 months of 25. So we'll start with the budget for 2025. We were getting a lot of quotes because we knew the contract was coming up. We kind of were budgeting a 28% increase in the commodity for electricity, and we were budgeting a 20% increase in the non-electricity part of the bill. And we're just not experiencing that. Part of the reason why we're not experiencing that is because our electricity usage is down this year versus last year, a little over 11%. I wish I could blame the whole variance on that, but I can't. We just budgeted too much this year based on the information we had in October versus what we were able to do through June. And I'll just keep working on the projections so we can try and figure out where we need to be.
Can I just ask a question too, because you know, a lot of the meetings were told how many of the light fixtures have been changed to LED. Is that partly why? Could that explain part of that difference, or or why you're saying that there's like 11% less electricity usage? Could it be due to the LED, changing to LED lights?
My understanding is that the biggest amount of light changeover, I don't even, this had happened in the second half to last quarter at Centennial. That was when the biggest changeover.
The tennis court.
I'm now just comparing the first 6 months to the second 6 months. So there has been some changeover, but I think the biggest piece that we're going to realize is from the Centennial savings, and we're going to see that probably the reduction over the second half. But now I'm tracking it every single month, so I know what our usage is. I know what our rates are. I was reading, had a meeting with Lucy, and Lucy had said that their ComEd is finally published the increase in the non-commodity rate that they're charging of about a dime. So we're expecting some big, the 20% that I had budgeted for, I think is going to be this dime, but I don't know how that's all going to shake out because I've now negotiated a new electric contract that just has the commodity in it. The price that we were paying before was a combination of the commodity and the delivery. So we'll have to see how this works out, but I'm watching it. Every bill that comes in now, I have a model now that I have set up, and I can share that with the facility managers as to what their usage has been and what they're being charged. And so when they go to budget next year, we'll already know the rate. The rate's already locked in for 2 years. So next year should be a little less volatility.
Right,
I
so
hope.
a lot to unpack, right? The 28% increase we budgeted in commodity and a 20% increase in delivery. Is that what I'm hearing is that you're saying that both of these are higher than they should be.
Well, I was expecting the 20% increase in the non-commodity to go into play in January.
Okay,
It looks like it's going into play in August.
okay.
The commodity increase was, I can't tell what the full commodity increase is yet because I don't have that second.
Right.
I haven't seen a bill yet then to see what the commodity, because the previous rate included the commodity and the delivery.
Okay.
So I still have to see if what we did by pulling out the commodity and just getting that with a contract versus what we paid in the past. I'll know as soon as I start seeing those bills.
How do we feel about it? I also am hearing you're feeling more confident about pinning down the 26 number.
Well, we will definitely have a lot more information in order to pin down that number, like we've already, made a contract for the rate.
Okay,
Okay, the variable piece will be the non-commodity portion of the Commonwealth Edison
Right.
bill, but we'll see what they have to say. And I already have usage tracked month by month, beginning of 2024.
and then so what I just don't want to have happen is, right, go the other way next year. So obviously
hope
no one
that's
does,
not gonna happen.
right? But the usage is interesting too, right? So that's a good thing.
And just as a side note, the facility usage is down 11.1%. The park usage is up. It's less than 1%, but it's still up. It's just immaterial to all of our expense related to electricity. It's the facilities that are using.
All right.
That's a win. That's a story we can tell.
Mr. Dutton.
So, I have a couple of questions here. I mean, obviously, besides light bulbs, a cooler April and May could have impacted our electric usage at our facilities to bring them down a little bit. Maybe that's the variance you're seeing. Whereas the parks are using slightly more energy. Who knows? Maybe it was more lighting because of darkness for a couple months. Who knows? I mean, we're all speculating on why at this moment. So my question to you about, the provider, from whom did we switch?
We, so NIMEC is our broker. The Northern Illinois Electrics, it's a consortium of people of,
Right.
municipal governments. They had Constellation as the provider, and now we have AEP.
Okay, but we negotiated, or we changed providers because the rate was better with this new provider?
Yeah,
That-
NIMEC picked the provider.
They
They
provided,
gave,
okay.
they gave the best rate.
So when you say, as you look back on old bills, you can't see the difference between delivery and commodity, but with this new provider, we'll be able to see.
We will be able to see the difference.
So the bill coming from the provider through the middleman to us just didn't break it out.
Yeah, well,
Well,
yes, that's true.
I guess my question, will there be now two bills, one from the provider and one from ComEd?
There could be, I'm not sure what the agreement is.
Okay.
We had a situation in 2019 and 2020 where the provider picked up the ComEd charges and passed them through to us. I'm not sure if I'm gonna see 15 times 2 bills times 12 months or 15 times.
I'm like this year's old when I learned that,
Yeah.
that there was the electricity rate that or electricity that we pay for is made up of two, the transportation of the commodity. And so, and it's like, that's full.
And the only thing we really can't control is that commodity price, and that is when the contract comes up. So you can do a bundle price or a separate price, and the rates, they were coming in so high, like between, we were paying 63, and the rates were coming in at like 85, 89, and one of the brokers that we were trying to get quotes from had said, the combined rate will also include a markup on the delivery piece. So if we undo them and just do the commodity, at least we're not paying a markup on the delivery rate. But we'll find out.
So I have another question about, like, is it okay if I ask about another line item here?
Sure.
So the only other one that was a little bit variable to me that, and I'm just gonna speculate and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but capital special rec, down in.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna make the assumption, that it's a straight line budget for expenses throughout each 12 months, equal spread out each 12 months. We just happen to be ahead of the budget in making these improvements.
So that is how the special rec budget was done this year.
Mhm.
It has been done differently in previous years,
Mhm.
but we had a project that we could use this rec fund for that we finished last month.
There you go.
And that's why there's been a spike in the,
But ultimately, we'll end up at the end of the year somewhere around that 100 that is, right, that 100 that's budgeted, right?
yes. Yes.
So roughly, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we're way close to it now. We're at 92 now, budgeted would have been 70, but I understand. So a project went through. Beautiful.
And just real quick, we also have a gas commodity. We've not seen the issues related to the budget that we've seen with the electric. So something's going on great with gas. We're gonna get electric in line too.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
It's like, well, and I have one last question, because right now you said that we're way ahead. Our operating, our surplus is ahead of where it was.
Of budget.
But what about, the end of the year? Do you expect that to be a timing difference and for it to catch up, or do you expect that permanently will be?
My expectations is that we are not gonna be $3 million ahead of budget this year. My expectation is that we are gonna come really close to that. I have not heard that we're getting a whole bunch of revenue that we haven't budgeted. I have also not heard that there are expenses that we don't plan to spend. I don't have any of that information right now. As we move into budget season, we're gonna talk about how people are doing projections. So we try and get
Get it more.
closer to where we think we're gonna end up at year end.
Great segue. Do you want to talk about the calendar?
The timeline? Yeah, so we met, the leadership team met and talked about, in order to get to, B&A that's approved in the January calendar, we need to start where we're starting. And there's a more detailed timeline for us in-house, but this is something that we have provided for the last 5 years. When we expect the budgets to be distributed to the board, when we expect to have a meeting to talk about the budgets, and of course, capital is another thing that we need to be kind of talking about so that we can stay ahead of whatever issues we were having last year, if that makes sense.
We have the FinCal before the August meeting. In it, we were supposed to talk about like year in review, year ahead. Is there anything, I'll talk to you about this next week, maybe folding some of this into that.
That'd be great.
Because it would seem like that would be relevant to the calendar.
Because there are a few things we kind of should talk about, like what is the line in the sand when we determine the rates? What's going to happen next year with respect to wages and with respect to, the guideline on expenses. I mean, I know there's a lot of classes of expenses, but we should kind of talk about that and when we should have the decision made for that. I like to kick off budget at the beginning of September because everything is kind of stopping. And the summer is kind of stopping after Labor Day. Okay. So then the supervisors and the managers can focus on projections and can focus on the budget, at least their first pass of the budget. And if we can give them some guidance, it would make things a little easier to know what the rates are so that we don't have to go back and redo salaries or redo fees or any of those other items.
So
We can chat about that.
So when leadership team met, did that include the executive director, or was this before Chris joined?
This was before Chris joined us.
So, not to put you on the spot, I would want Chris to weigh in, our executive director to obviously weigh in if he had it on this. This feels, and some of the dates I was spot checking, like the same cycle we've done for several years in a row to that Wednesday meeting, first Wednesday of December meeting. This is the same general timeline we've followed for the last couple of years. I think in the last 2 years, we've gotten to that early December and had some moments where we felt like we needed to revisit question. And I thought the sentiment had been, should we start this sooner, or how can we make adjustments to correct for that a little bit and not feel like we were really pushing the deadline to get to that line of hearing. So I don't know if there was discussion around that, but I just want to kind of put that out there into the air to consider.
I was thinking, but that's kind of where I was saying, like maybe I'll take care of that whole, the whole idea of the work plan was to just have a guide, right? And now we're sitting in front of it and saying, maybe we could adjust some of those work plan items that are in front of me and layer those in so that we're not, we're bumping things forward the good way, right? Maybe not so that staff has to have their budgets done earlier, but anything that would help the staff get their budgets done is fine.
I understand you can't really start right now. We're in the middle of summer season, et cetera. So I understand there's probably a natural starting point, like you're saying. But yeah, I would say in one of our FinCal meetings, perhaps we work together to see any of these in-between meetings. Could they accelerate a meeting or two?
You have the most complicated of budgets, I believe, right? Any impact or any thoughts on this?
Obviously, we're not going to start sooner.
No.
Now we're just compressing the windows within which we operate in order for my team to get their work done from step to step. There are steps in here that are bigger where I will have a little breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to talk with Chris and see what that really looks like. If we can, we'd be talking about adjusting a week or two here or there, kind of in the middle of this process. So if you can let us know what you think you'd like to have earlier at one of these meetings, we'll see, I think, if we can compress some of these windows.
Maybe that will, we're short people here today. I'll reach out to everybody individually and say, hey, we're supposed to have this review in August. Maybe let's have half of that section be this calendar. How can we improve it? Any thoughts? And that way we can set everybody up.
So I looked over the last 2 years and the rates that were not ready before Labor Day. Last year, the rates weren't ready until September.
Rates not ready. We hadn't communicated the rates or
Maybe we had not agreed and communicated that.
Mhm.
It's not-
9/26 was when that was communicated last year. So that already put us 4 weeks behind the schedule,
Okay.
behind the timeline. So if we could kind of have some discussions about that earlier, because it has worked well up until like the last, I want to say maybe 20, there were 2 years out of the last 5 years where it caused a delay trying to agree on what we were going to do with fees and agree with what we were going to do on wages.
And if I could add, so like, parks, and administration, their budgets are gonna be reviewed by the board October 27th. They're going to the director 2, if not 3 weeks prior to that, so the staff is working on them way before you all see them. But the director will review them and discuss them with the department heads way before it comes here. So moving that up before October 27th really means moving up probably before October 1st.
And we might be able to get more information sooner because we're not dealing with 8% inflation like inflation
Well,
is
and
kind
that's the problem. There was that issue, there was just so many variables and, it might be calmer this year, than it has been in the past, right?
I just remember sitting here in November meeting and several of your staff were here and we were like, there was this moment of, are they gonna make your team go back to the sharpen their pencils again? And the terror look on your face, and if you remember, I spoke up like, guys, like that ship failed already, like we've already, gotten to this one time. So I'm just thinking ahead that I don't want to get into that situation again. So maybe the calendar is fine, maybe it's more of the check-ins or the having more Cal meetings that we just make sure the board's comfortable with where we're going. So that the board's not causing any delays and that we can I just don't want that moment to come back.
Okay, we'll talk to you. Vehicle lift discussion. Yeah, nice segue again. Yeah.
So the current lift is 18 years old, nearing the end of its 20-year projected lifespan. Several.
Sounds like it's there already.
It is the end, so the anticipated life is 20 years. We're at year 18. And the lift is in disrepair. From the perspective of the manufacturer, they will not sign off on major welding that needs to take place on the lift, in addition to the other significant repairs that are required as far as the lift cylinder, locking mechanisms, other safety features on this lift. It's 31 feet long, and that lift is not only utilized by the mechanic at West Park, but we do share and utilize that with the golf staff. Mechanics can come use that and do use that lift on occasion for their equipment too, that's not suited to their lift. So that lift is used to maintain all the vehicles and equipment for the entire park district. And this thing is at the end of its useful life. When we have some constraints within the facility too, where that lift needs to be put back in the same exact place because of the constraints within that facility. So this lift really, we looked at several different vendors to come out and assess the lift, give us, their thoughts on that. As far as inspection, it wouldn't pass inspection. And we got several quotes. So that lift has been non-operational for a few weeks after I started. So we've had to send out a little over $4,000 in repair work out on that lift. That's only going to accelerate as we start getting into the season of starting to set up for snow and ice and the preventative maintenance that we're going to get into. So it is vital that we do replace this lift. I understand the cost, so we're having to, we'll have to look at that. But this price that we did receive, one of the two quotes, I'm confident that that lift quote is all encompassing of the entire scope of work that needs to be done in order to remove, replace, and repair the concrete and bring in a new lift.
Sounds pretty definitive. Does anyone have any questions?
Has it made it into
Concerns?
capital yet?
Yes.
Is it coming out of capital?
It has to.
It will have to.
But you haven't added it to the spreadsheet. I was like,
This is,
No,
this is the most I've seen in the dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't some plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So
This year,
will we
so
be
we'll have
finding
to-
something that we're gonna kick to offset, or are we gonna Just over, we have least I thought for that.
We're gonna have to look at
I
that.
think the offset would be the lack of the $350,000.
Yeah, this, yeah,
We spent 180 on the bus, so.
yes.
So.
And there is some, I run that column of the ups and overs and unders, so we'll know where we are there.
So let's make sure it's in there for the next time we see the.
Yes.
But at least we did have
We-
that.
Just wanted to bring this forward, to bring this up, because we have been talking about this for several months.
So we'll presumably approve that.
Yes,
I guess I'm just saying that the amount, I guess you're saying so far it's been $4,000 just so far this year, and the lift is, I'm just saying, sending it out, I mean, that definitely does, there's a savings with buying your new one versus sending.
So outsourcing
Yeah.
the preventive maintenance and repairs and everything, yes, it is cheaper to do that in-sourced. Yeah.
So you're recommending that we replace this as opposed to repair it, and the reason is that if we do repairs to this lift, the manufacturer won't support a warranty on this lift anymore.
No. The manufacturer, and I have in writing from one of the vendors, that the manufacturing, and I quote, back on the lift they will not approve, the manufacturer, in writing, any structural repairs that need to be done to this lift. So if we repair this lift without writing from the manufacturer, we're going outside the manufacturer's ability to say that this lift and verify that this lift is safe. So nobody will make those repairs.
So if someone were to get hurt by one of the safety features.
Well, you're not going back at the manufacturer anyway. I mean,
Correct. These two companies
yeah,
will not do the work based on the fact that they will not get in writing from the manufacturer that they can. do structural repairs.
whatever they do is not
Yes.
endorsed basically by the
Correct.
manufacturer.
Yes,
And so there were only two companies that came and looked at this lift to give quotes, right?
we had a third
Yeah.
and they did not quote.
They just said, I'm not interested in the
They
job.
did not quote on the job.
Right, and the difference I remember being quite dramatic was like roughly 80,000 compared to 130,000, something to that effect.
102,000.
102?
Two.
Okay, my numbers were transposed in my head. Okay, thank you very much. Just trying to get a whole picture.
Yep.
So we'll see an ordinance to do that at the next, with the budget impact in that. And then also it'll be that because it's a 20-year life cycle, we'll pull that off the 20. Because again, we have that long-term capital plan. I'm sure the lift is on there. We'll figure it out.
Sure it is. We'll pull it out and.
So this,
This is also a joint purchase amount. So these companies, both companies he brought out, I know it's surprising, the numbers are different, but these are publicly bid contracts for this amount. So these are approved vendors that have already been vetted to be competitive.
Right. We're gonna have a new lift. Dave, where's the intern?
Right now. Unfortunately, TJ had oral surgery last week and there was a complication and it left him unable to speak for a few days. He's fine. He'll be back in the office probably late tomorrow, but it talked very well. So I didn't want to put him in that spot.
No.
So based on his timeline, he's here through August 15th, if that's a Friday. I think we have a meeting on that Monday. So if you guys are willing to have him at the regular board meeting, we can present then. If not, he can provide a written report.
Or we'll get people to come in and sit in rooms. Like, sure, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I still want him to have the experience of presenting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here and force it.
Yeah.
So no TJ tonight.
All right, that moves us to 6.0, ongoing district projects.
all right, so Gilson, a significant amount of a significant portion of the punch lists have been completed at Gilson. The primary outstanding items would be relating to the contractor that needs to get the landscaping done. They did come out and do some more work, some hydro seeding. Admittedly, this is not the growing season right now. They understand that. They've committed to come back in September to do more hydro seeding and get the plants and all of that established. From time of acceptance, we haven't accepted anything, but from time of acceptance, we do get a 1-year warranty for that. So the contractor is moving along with that. Bunch of items are almost complete there. DeWalt Hamilton still has some closing documents that they still need to provide. They're working on that. And that project's gonna wrap up shortly.
I saw them moving the rock or near the entrance, the south entrance. I saw the right once and they had a forklift and
Yeah,
the rock.
that memorial,
The
yeah, they're working on
National
that
Register.
locations for that.
Yeah, so it's a good.
Curiosity question on hydro seeding was, what does that mean?
So that is just a seed that is run through a machine and
It sprays it out.
sprays it out. And, so you see all the green,
Yeah.
not the pavement,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
green that's out on the side, that's the
Yeah.
hydro seeding that it's.
It's got like newspaper
Yeah,
and it
I've seen.
germinates pretty quick.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
So that's gonna, we hope, take root before winter sets in. Is that why we're doing it in September? Or is it better that we wait until spring and do this so that it has,
So the growing season prior to that would be spring, and there is a fall season that you can do that. So the contractor did decide to put some out to see if some of it would take if we got some rain, but it hasn't. So they've committed to coming back in September and finishing the
all
job.
right, understood. It's just, well, it's about to get cold and we're seeding and so.
And dude, just because they do that in September doesn't mean that we have to accept that.
Mhm.
Is there,
Also,
I say, is there any talk working with Lucy to try this? I mean, I was thinking especially along the path now that's replaced Middle Drive. About doing native plantings along that way, because similar to the bird habitat, to try to have more of a,
So that would be
like, look,
something I can have the new horticulturist and parks planner both look at.
Yeah,
That would be fall into those
because
two
rather than
positions.
just
One of those two
green,
positions.
green grass, rather than
Yeah.
just boring old grass, maybe have,
Something people can step over at least, or because that people just traverse in straight lines through the park, right? And they'll walk right across that path. So, see what I mean? And then we didn't budget for this.
maybe
We can also
have
get extra
pathways,
budget for
have
what
pathways
different,
or-
annual projects we tried to do. This is why we have a sustainability. plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have the planner to look into
Yeah.
what they could do with those spaces and create walking spaces too.
I think it also looks very grows in.
Well, I guess they are diagonally because people kind of tend to walk parallel to the path, or they walk on the path themselves and not so much closer. But yes, but you could have even some spaces for paths to, if, people do want to cross over. Like by the playground, would probably be one place.
That's something I'll have my parks, the park.
No,
planner
no,
look
thank
at.
you, thank you.
Langdon?
Langdon, yes. The guard hut is up. It's been stained. So that job, that we're just doing a punch list item with the guard hut. So that's almost coming to fruition too. Staff has ordered the materials for the sail fence that's gonna go on. We're just waiting for the materials to come in. As soon as all the materials come in, they'll start working on that, and then we'll do the install on that, and then that project will be complete. Minus the landscaping that's still, that the vendor's working on, the contractor's working on.
So is that the same place? So if I look at it from the water, it's
Right.
all brown in that main area. Has that been planted yet, or that's gonna be planted?
It's been planted. Our contractor is working on going back and reestablishing. We've been working with the contractor on that and going in, and we've taken pictures and made them aware of the deficiencies that are taking place
Yeah.
there.
It's a big.
It's a huge section.
I
Yes.
do remember them presenting that was gonna take a while. Because
Yeah.
of the types of.
And I had thought we were waiting until the spring on one of these
Yeah.
projects to do plantings. That's why I was asking about,
Langdon, they did all the plantings there.
this spring.
Yeah,
Okay.
Works in
but
progress.
it's work in progress. It's been very challenging as with the drought and the heat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
It's been a
ideal
tough year.
conditions for growing.
With the other segue, with
Yeah.
all the sun, how is this? Solar, but I'm just forcing it now.
You do this.
So Hayward Park Osmond is gonna be a tough one. We'll get there. Yeah.
The CRC solar project the contractor's been doing phenomenal. They're just doing some minor wirings and The thing that we're waiting on and that could hold us up is the ComEd shutdown. That's been pushed already to the second week of August. It's not confirmed with ComEd. We're still waiting for that confirmation for that shutdown and changeover and test everything. So that is on the horizon to get done soon.
How is the CRC and the restoration of their own?
Well,
Can I go back to the panels for one
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
All right, so you made a comment about the shutdown of ComEd. So are we anticipating that solar panels are gonna provide all the electricity for it? No, right?
No, the vendor just has to do a shutdown on the weekend to verify that everything is working correctly within the panels.
So it gets like, okay, we are getting X wattage or however they measure it, and so it's perform, okay, I understand. All right, thank you.
Doesn't take very much to do it. We just have to schedule.
Yes. And getting ComEd to commit to a date can be very challenging.
Like you're talking to people that have never, been through this, so, oh, we're shutting down the power.
Right.
I thought we were only, yeah, so.
I thought it was related to the restoration.
Oh.
No.
There we go.
there-
again.
Oh, now
Exactly.
Jim again.
So a small portion of the mitigation outside the facility is still needs to take place. The adjuster, LJ Shaw, has been on vacation the last several weeks, so we're still waiting to hear back from LJ Shaw on the additional scope of work outside the building, the lights
Mhm.
specifically, and the O-rings, and then the main entrance flooring and the upstairs flooring. So we're still working with LJ Shaw and going through that. So once they get back to us, we'll have a better understanding where we're at with that. We're also still working with 2 contractors to get pricing for the whole reconstruction. So staff is working through that, close to getting pricing. So we should have some quotes in the next several weeks on what that full restoration is going to look like.
My brain just flashed that this is important for the budget season and capital.
Yes,
Just gonna throw that out there.
we
Yeah,
are planning
yeah.
on that. Yes,
Okay.
specifically next year too. We're looking into some capital that could be taking place there too.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Segway King.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
That's near Hibbert Park, isn't it?
It is near Hibbert
Yeah.
Park. So Hibbert Park, the project is progressing on time.
Yeah.
Tracking really well. They're doing a great job. The pickleball courts have been in. They have another 3 weeks to cure. Additionally, work behind home plate, the fencing, et cetera, has been taking place at the ball field. In the next couple of weeks, they're going to put in the pathway construction will take place. And then the pickleball courts will be painted, and then they'll move to the other section to start doing the other demo and reconstruction that's taking place there.
People are gonna wanna play right away.
They're going to want to play right away. So
Yeah.
we are driving towards getting those painted as quick as we can so that they can be played.
And I would say we're doing acoustic fence, I believe.
At least on one, on two sides, yeah.
Let me verify.
I think that's start date. Just for all the things we have going on. If we could just make sure that that stuff goes on first and that's when you do it.
Yeah.
And it might be a couple days and I think everyone would understand that. I will, but anyone disagree or?
No. I just trying to make sure it goes. I think we had talked about just doing it on 2 sides of it. It's a vague recollection of mine, so.
Right, whatever it was, that'll be, when is this gonna start? When the acoustic fence is up.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
do that then.
That, we're there, to 7. We're not gonna go into closed for 7. Yeah,
Because last year, would like to share a bit of information before we adjourn. An opportunity has presented itself for my family to purchase a new home. And it is not gonna be within the zip code any longer. And so our plan as of now would be, we'll have 2 residents for a short time and we're not going far enough that our jobs are changing. We will still be very nearby. But even if I were to be going back and forth, and as deeply as I care about this community, my family would not be here consuming the services and participating in the community in the way that I've enjoyed for this last decade. So I will, provided everything falls through, of which there are many contracts already in place at this point, upon closing of the sale of our home in Wilmette, I would intend to be resigning from the board because I would be leaving Wilmette. It was leaving this board is one of the strongest negatives about this decision, but it is on the grand scheme an incredible opportunity for our family that we have chosen to take. And I have loved my service here, and this is really unexpected, to be honest, but the market is unique right now, and things move swiftly when things move. And so didn't see this coming, Director Lindgren. I'm sorry that we won't get to have an extended period of time together, but I'm committed to transitioning as best we can. But it did happen very quickly and suddenly, and so there will be a short window here before I would probably legally take my leave. So most likely the August board meeting would be my final.
So you're hearing,
I didn't want
Yes.
rumors to circulate in the community. I did let the president and Director Mark Redfern know, a week ago as this became a reality.
less than that, your house market.
My house was just on the market this weekend.
So,
So it's all very fast,
And-
very fast. I lost my voice from lack of sleep.
yes.
But again, on the whole, it's the right thing to do for our family, and
So team, this has not been fully disseminated and it's her story to tell, but kudos to her for thinking, and I totally agree that this is important and if that's out there, then it needs to be out there. I'm gonna send an email to the rest of the board, maybe tonight, outlining kind of like
Next steps.
next steps. Off the top of my head, there were the 6 commissioners that are up here normally were all part of the 21 vacancy. And the one that wasn't and didn't get it was me. And so we actually have a pretty good process. So I'll survey y'all about like what we liked and didn't like, but I have to anticipate it will look very similar to that.
Yeah.
In the brief time I've talked to her about it, I went back and I looked, the process for the Shishler vacancy, I'll just call it that, was at the August meeting of that year. A memo was presented to the board and some modifications were made at that time. A press release went out the next day and applications started to be taken. Our board manual, again, just reading it, I haven't spoken to Andrew, but that email is going to go out tonight, requires us to take applications. And then that's really it, review it and choose someone. There's no time frame, but again, in 21, applications were taken. You held first round interviews or round interviews in September, and Commissioner Anderson was chosen end of September, inaugurated for October. I gotta imagine we'll be doing something similar to that, but that'll all be made very clear to the community at the August meeting if we get there. And that's a big if, right? Like we've all been a part of real estate transactions that have fallen apart. So kudos to you for putting yourself out there and giving the community a chance to kind of process this, but
to those watching the owl. that
Yeah, the owl.
did think about applying.
yeah.
Great board to join, a great
So, and I
direction.
send you guys an email tonight just with what I know and it'll be a topic. Thanks.
That's it. We don't miss you.
We will miss you, but we still got you. You're on the clock.
I'm still working in the community. Our jobs are the same. Wish I could continue.
On that note, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Somebody second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.